Hi, everyone. My name is Alberta, and welcome to episode 8 of the Evently Live Chat Show. Today, we're going to be talking about the Farsons Beer Festival. Our special guest is Adolf Vella. He is the business support manager at Farsons and also organizes the beer festival. I'm also going to introduce for you my co host for today, Ben Vincenti. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. I'm just going to invite them in. Hi, guys.
Hi, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm good, thanks. And you, Adolf?
All good this morning.
Super. Adolf, I don't know if you could maybe introduce yourself a bit for our viewers so they even know who you are, what you do, and your role with the beer festival, the Farsons
Okay,
Beer
yes.
Festival. Sorry.
Practically, I'm a business support manager for Farsons. Part of my duties are to organize and build up the Farsons Beer Festival. As you all know, the Farsons Beer Festival has been going on for many years now. Maybe go detail in later. And for the last 3 years, I've been the person that organize and produce the Farsons Beer Festival with the rest of the team.
Cool. Super. Thank you very much for that. And actually, for the list, for our viewers to know, our agenda today, we did want to discuss different things, even with the event for this year, previous years, and everything. I am going to go straight into the first point we have on the agenda, which basically we wanted to discuss with you the Farsons Beer Festival. Is it really about beer or music, Adolf?
Do we have? I mean, can you separate the both things? I don't
Sure.
think you can actually separate beer from music or music without beer. I think they go hand in hand. The organization is primarily to develop the beer education and taste new beers. Okay, so definitely in terms of the Farsons Beer Festival, if I have to pick the main element, is beer. The selections of beers that we have and promoting this beer within a widespread market. Obviously, without the music, the beer cannot be enjoyed as much as we would like to. Let's put it that way.
I understand. So, I mean, yes, you want it to be focused specifically around the beer, but I mean, they come together hand in hand to create the whole atmosphere that you would like the person to actually remember, have that
Yeah.
memory.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's very important that that music and 10 days of music like that enhance the beer experience. Okay, but yes, I would say that the actual headliners of the beer festival are our beers.
Would you say that you use the beer festival as a platform as well to launch new products, to launch new beers, or introduce new beers?
Yes, definitely yes. It happened. We were looking forward to introduce a new beer this year too. But yes, from time to time, um, when we get the opportunity to introduce a new beer, definitely will be there. However, more than just introducing your new beer, it's promoting the beer experience. Meaning, if we pick a particular beer and this particular beer is enjoyable more in the clubbing scene, you need to have a platform for clubbing. If this beer is more enjoyable from the rock side of the party followers, then you need to adapt to that. So that is it's not just promoting the beer, but promoting the actual experience of the beer, which we believe we made big efforts in the Farsons Beer Festival in the last years.
Right, and when you think like a beer would attract or appeal to more of an audience, let's say in the clubbing scene versus the band scene, do you gauge that on sales of that beer in particular events? Or do you use a different gauge?
Let's be honest. I mean, some of our beers are imported, and some others are we have foreign companies that they support us from the principle, and we know from research which brands fits particular more than others. Yes, you see. I mean, you see that locals will definitely always opt for Chisk. Case in point. So you need to have Chisk in all areas where you have it. But more and more, I mean, there are other brands nowadays that they are taking their own status and their own markets. Is that yes? It's like that.
Okay, cool. All right, so going to the next question. How would you say so? The festival has been around since 1981, correct?
This would be the 40 years actually, 40th edition. Sorry, this is
40th
the
edition.
40th edition.
So that's quite a long-standing festival. I don't know the facts, but is that like the longest music and beer festival in Malta? I mean, beer, I would guess so, but in terms
I
of music,
guess this. I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected, but I think this is the longest festival happening in Malta.
yeah, yeah,
There are no other festival. I believe maybe the Jazz Festival, which is
right.
very close to that, but I don't think that there are any other festivals that have been as long as the Farsons Beer Festival.
Cool. And sure. So, and how would you say that the festival has evolved since 1981 and now when we were supposed to have the 40th edition?
Yeah, I mean, I've been Farsons now 4 years, so I saw the Farsons Beer Festival in the last 4 years changing, let alone from where it started. I remember when I used to go to the Farsons Beer Festival as a party goer or a festival, um, uh, and definitely even from that time it evolved. But I guess Malta has changed too, and as per Farsons Beer Festival, I would say the size, the the needs for more space has drastically changed from where it started. It's practically for just a bit of history. What I've been told by Mr. Farrugia himself is that practically it started in this parking area and near the factory of Farsons factory. It started from there. It went to Sisana, it went to San Anton, then to Zira. So it made changes, but apparently, I mean, approximately 20 years ago, it moved to Ta'ali, and it's a stable location now that Ta'ali has been developed in many different areas in many different ways. So yes, definitely changed. But even the attendees changed. I mean, their needs changed. So more than a better selection of beers, better selection of food for sure, facilities. I mean, environmental and health and safety nowadays. Around this year, definitely increased in Malta, and rightly so. It should be like that. So we need to adapt. We need to up our game. I would say the last 3 years were very challenging in terms health and safety. Sorry, but we embraced them and we made that our effort to keep the high standards that health and safety requires. So yes, needs definitely by the consumers, by the attendees. They changed the face of the beer festival. Um, Even the style of music changed.
Yeah, I
Ben,
was
you
gonna
know
ask
very
actually
well.
about that. I was going to ask, like, would you say that it was not notoriously more of like a rock festival, and now it has evolved into more of a hybrid kind of platform of different music? I'm interested to for you to maybe if we could explore this.
I wouldn't say it was a rock event because I mean, from where I remember, it was always two stages. One was the maybe a bit of folk, maybe a bit of Maltese classics. In some cases, foreign acts they were invited to, and then there was the rock stage. Yes, that was the stable rock stage. That made the beer festival. Indeed, yes, the rock stage was the last one to end, the more noisy as always, but it was part of it. So I guess yeah, it started from two stages like that. Nowadays, definitely, I would say, and I would say proudly too, that it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid because yes, we introduced 2 years ago, as I remember, 2 or 3 years ago, we introduced DJs. Um, we're I mean, again, we're trying not to take over the festival because DJs are electronic music in total. It's a popular demand at the moment, and yes, I think that it was needed in the Bear Festival. Still can't take over because we would like to keep the selection. We would like to keep the variety of the beer festival from the opening time from 8, having the traditional banda going around roaming because there is welcoming people. Then we will have some acoustic gigs happening in different areas. Then the main stage kicks in, rock stage, and the clubbing area. So I believe, yes, we managed to find, I believe last year especially, we managed to find a good balance in between the areas. Yes, needs improvement due to sound, but yes, we are working on that and hopefully it will be perfected.
Very
Cool.
good.
And that brings us to the next question, which Alberta can pop up. But we were curious to see, like, how how do artists take part in the festival? Because again, another thing we need to mention is that it's to my knowledge, the longest festival, right? It goes over numerous days, more than any other festival. What is it? 10 days.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's 10 days. It's 10 days. Actually, we started, I think last year, 2 years ago. No, sorry. We moved it from opening from Friday to Thursday, and it's ending up on Saturday to have the big closing on Saturday night. 10 days, three, I would say 4 stages now. That
well,
means 60 acts in total. So yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, because and all local.
right.
That is a statement that I love to share with everyone because we are keeping local as much as possible. As we understand, having 10 headliners covering the Farsons Beer Festival main stage, which is almost taking 8,000 people there. It's a tough one.
Right, and how do you fill that lineup? So is it like, are there any calls? Do you invite them yourself? Do you reach out to maybe the hottest artists at the time? Are there open calls for them to apply? How does that work, Adolf?
There is no particular application. We invite artists to work. I mean, to perform at the beer festival. However, we receive numerous applications via Facebook, Instagram, and even emails, suggesting particular brands. I even personally receive a personal message on Facebook and CDs sometimes or demos, etc. So yes, we will love to receive them. We listen to all of them and check them out. However, then we need to make a selection, as I said, to build up the nights and build up the atmosphere for that particular night. We try to find, especially in the rock now slash alternative stage, um, uh, we try to build up as much as possible the nights. So if we have, I believe last year we had 3 or 4 metal nights in the alternative stage. Um, and the idea is that from these 10 nights, we will have 3 to 4 metal, 3 classic rock. Last year we had 1 rap too, or hip hop, and we were trying to have a good reggae night, which is very hard to have with local artists. But we will get there too. I mean, I believe that the alternative stage can grow and give us more selection in that way.
Very good. I mean, the 10 days does give you the opportunity to go and try and target different audiences. I have a lot of friends that would go, prepare, have a look at your lineups
Calendar.
and say, exactly, and okay, cool, we're going Tuesday, we're going Thursday. And I mean, you're really waking up the scene because that is a whole week of people just continuously wanting to come and enjoy every different day, and they come for multiple days.
Yes, last year, no, sorry, 2018, we did a survey and to understand a bit how the beer festival is doing and demographic and attendees. And the survey practically showed us that people come 3 days out of 10. The average is 3 days out of 10, which is very realistic because um, when I used to go to the festival myself, now I go 10 out of 10 or 11 out of 10. But I used to go 3 times for sure. And yes, there is that element that they come again. There is another statement that we do within our team. I believe it was 4 years ago. We didn't do the door-to-door flyer with the
Okay.
full calendar, and the amount of calls, messages that we received at
Okay.
Farsons complaining about that, it was incredible. We decided to keep it. We introduced it actually the year after, and we believe that that is stuck by the fridge, and people will choose from that calendar when to attend or not. Believe it or not, but the most popular days are during the week. I mean,
Yes.
Monday and Tuesday are the craziest days. Maybe because of the lineup, maybe not. But Monday and Tuesday are crazy.
Yes. In fact, I do want to put up a few comments for you because I have two actually here on my phone, which I can't show you on the screen. And I have one here as well for you. Basically, we have Jonathan who said, missing the chick success at the beer festival this year. I guess we all are.
Yes, definitely. We're missing all the beers at the beer festival this year. By the way, just a small correction there. Sorry to be picky, but Cheese Success now is Cheese Strong. So
Okay.
Cheese Strong, yeah, you have to go to the supermarket for the time being and get it from there because it's just strong is available for there. Unfortunately, not even the bars for the time being, but maybe some restaurants and the supermarket definitely will enjoy it there.
People can maybe find a few bands from last year, get a few songs on their laptop, have a few
Yeah,
beers.
we're thinking of some ideas for this year, so
Very good.
we're
Very
thinking of some
good.
ideas.
And in fact, actually, now I can't put these on the screen for you, but I do have a Constanta here, where she did ask, do we need to wear the mask and how is it going to be with social distancing? I'm guessing she's asking for this year's edition.
This year's edition, just to
Post.
clear it up for no misunderstanding, this year
Yes.
edition will not happen.
Yes.
This will be postponed. Our 40th edition will be postponed for 2021. So, unfortunately, but expected, um, the this year's edition of the Farsons Beer Festival will not happen. This is the first time ever that the Farsons Beer Festival would has skipped a year. So
Yes. But I mean,
yeah,
not exact. There's nothing you can really do about it. I mean,
no,
it's
no, no,
just
no. I
extra
mean,
preparation now for next year to make it the best ever 40th edition you can make now.
definitely yes. And yes, just to continue on her question, I mean, we have to see. I mean, what the department and Saha will tell us, because we need to see even for next year how we will have it. But I believe I'm very positive, and I believe that we will find a way to do it very well.
Yes. She actually did come in and say, so this year we're staying home. So I do urge you, Constanta, to get a few beers, put some music on from last year, and look forward to waiting for next year's show, festival. We also have another comment here from Rene, who said Monday is the traditional metal night. So I'm guessing that's why maybe it's quite one of your popular days.
Definitely, yes. I know Rene very well. Yes, yes, definitely. Monday is the metal night. Now we have even the first night, Thursday metal night, which is very doing very well. Metal bands in Malta are doing very well, and there are numerous from where to choose from, and it's very hard from where to choose. And definitely there, that's why practically we needed the third and fourth night, and some additions.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rene, for that. I am going to take you into the next question we have on the agenda. How did your audience react to postponing the 40th edition?
Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, I think from the comments, that first of all, we saw very positive comments when we announced it. We saw that the interaction is there. People were waiting for the beer festival, and they were waiting for the news. Unfortunately, because it was expected. Let's be honest. And we tried. We asked for help for how we can how it can happen, if it can happen or not, first of all, and what ways we can do it. But it was decided that it's not even worth the risk. This is something bigger than the beer festival itself, and I think it was the best decision was taken for this year.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. I am just going to pop up this now. What is the process you go through for choosing your headliners? I think you've already started explaining a bit on this. But how do you go about picking the right headliners and the rest of the lineup for each particular day?
Ara, we are a team. We are a team. We have working supporting us. Put it this way, supporting us. I have Howard Keat and
Okay.
Michael Bugeya too. To both of them very well known within their know-how and their expertise, and together with the Farsons team. That is where we build up the schedule, new ideas coming in, and emerging bands, and even bands that maybe like last year at the end. We even had Freddy Portelli for a quick comeback on the Farsons Beer Festival stage after years. That in line with Ira Loscro not performing at the Beer Festival for many years. So yes, we are trying as much as possible to shock the routine of having a fixed calendar every year. However, I believe that there are some, as Rena said before in his question, and that there are some days that is the metal night, and that is the tribali nights. So those are, I think, locals. They are very happy with that, and we don't want to rock the boat too much, because at the same time, this is what makes the beer festival.
Correct. And if you don't mind me asking, is this something that you look into and plan in a month, or I mean, would you be planning it from once you finish last year's edition, you would start preparing for this year's?
You mean the lineup?
Yes,
No, the lineup.
but everything.
Yeah, everything. I would say actually starts permits and stuff. I would say January, February. There when we kick off the process. Um, uh, in terms of the headliners and lineup after the beer festival, we have always the post evaluation that we understand which nights worked, which didn't, and how to improve. And then again, I would say January, February, we have the first meeting where we draft in a proposal in terms of what lineup we would like to have or what changes we'd like to have, and we build on that. But I would say the actual work start kicks in around February.
And is there a dedicated team that is full time on the beer festival, or is it like extracurricular duties
I
for?
wish, I'm not sure if my boss is listening to you. I would love that question addressed to her. No, it's not. It's not a dedicated team. The business support team, which is under my responsibility, and we are a team of uh, 12 practically, but two of us are mainly dedicated on the beer festival. Last year, the third person joined in too, and that is the core team of the beer festival. However, all the marketing team and all the Farsons team are involved in many ways. I would pick up from the health and safety manager of Farsons. He is taking care of the health and safety of the during the Farsons Beer Festival. I would say that is definitely extracurriculum. Um, the marketing team, the social media team, they're all involved. From the marketing team itself, they're involved in the beer festival. The brands, all the beers, they have specific or how I mean, some of them they have two beers, etc. So those come in to build up the activations of each brand. I would say the team is, I think, 20, 25 people in total. So
Oh,
everyone has his role, double role, and sometimes even triple role.
thank you.
Very good. And while you're speaking even about the whole team and everything, like how do you guys go about planning your vibe curation basically?
I think vibe curation, first of all, starts with the lineup. When you have the band headliners, that is very important that you have certain bands that enhance each other. You can't have a band supporting a supporting band that has no um, comparison to the headliner. You need to have a team. Let's put it this way: a team there. That's a straightforward message for that particular night. However, then myself, we engage judges to help with the curation on stage. Judges are involved, have been involved the last 5 years, I believe. And they are taking care of the curation and the content for the stage.
Very good. Thank you for that. I am going to put up another comment here for us from Rosie Gregg. Thank you, Rosie. Hi, guys. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the 40th edition of Beer Festival 2021. Adolf, do you have any plans maybe for this year? Sort of, maybe people would I don't know, just to still have sort of something happening, even if it's maybe online.
We we still have something in mind. We're still working on it. To be
Okay,
honest, it's still being discussed.
okay,
Definitely, it's not gonna be at happening at Taali, that's for sure not. And we are looking into working and hopefully announce something very, very soon.
So maybe we could get like a sneak peek for all our viewers so they'd know it's something.
Let's say it will make happy the collectors.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you very much. Mela, I'm going to put up this one for you. Now, beer, lighting, and the sound. The whole team has to put this all together, but how do you guys go into putting every little detail together with the band, the atmosphere? I mean, there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of work to be put into this, these 10 days.
Yes, definitely. I mean, as I said before, we start around February. There are many contractors involved, and here is where I can't stop mentioning my colleague Adriana, where she manages to build up this contractors team and have them on schedule and work with them very, very closely, because again, it's not just the 10 days. I mean, we start 1 month before the actual opening of the beer festival, 1 month before, to start setting up the containers for the soundproofing. Then we start setting up the bars, moving in the fridges, setting up the dispense, the draft. Just that again is something that was done locally, in-house, and needs installation with each every bar. We have 13 bars in total.
Wow.
I
So
believe last year we have.
when does the installation happen? Like
We start 1 month before.
1 month before.
Let's say, as far as I remember, last year we started beginning of July, or something like that. And we start. And let's keep in mind, the early in that heat, it can get really hot out there, and the contractors are working. Sometimes some of them they work overnight rather than working during the day. Um, it's challenging. It's challenging very much, but and to be honest, I believe that you see the contractors coming in as part of the family. Yes, they are still workers, and they are contracted to do so. However, they are part of the team nowadays, and some of the contractors have been doing the beer festival for many years. As far as I know, Sound has been 30. Last time he was telling me, I mean, he's 32, 33 years. If I'm not mistaken, consecutive. So there are part of the family, and yes, definitely it needs a lot of coordination, a lot of meetings, especially then when it comes the last week, when the stock comes in, the equipment starts coming in, so there is where it starts the headache, and you need to make sure that the fences are up, that the security is in. It's an outdoor space after all, and you need to make the best out of it. It's I never checked exactly how much is the square meterage, but it's quite a big space that we take from the Taale Park.
Definitely. I mean, you did say that your audience is, you've had over 8,000
It's an
just in
average of
one
8,000 per year. Sorry, per
per
day.
year.
No, per
Yes,
day,
okay.
per day. But that is an average. If I'm not mistaken, last year we exceeded that very much, especially in the last night. And it was. I mean, Mondays and Tuesdays we are reaching, I would say, definitely the 12,000.
Wow, wow. And I mean, is this
It's
something
free
that you have
entrance,
to
so
control as well? Sort of, how do you manage to control this with health and safety, you know? And of course, you want to keep letting everybody in. I mean, you want them to come and enjoy the night. Have you ever had cases that you've had to sort of put a stop on people
no,
coming
not
in?
yet. Not yet. The park itself, it's very. I mean, there's enough space for that, and the
Yes,
permit comes out based on the space.
very
So
good.
there is no issue. There is no issue of health and safety. But obviously, you start because people flow, and that's the idea. What we wanted from the beer festival in the last years is that people don't get stuck in one area.
Okay.
enjoy the rest of the area, because after all, the festival grounds are quite a good size, and there are various areas. Um, uh, we introduced different acoustic gigs, even comedy shows 2 years ago in one of the bars. So there's a lot to see. There is a lot to attend to. There is a lot of, and we would like to have more actually.
Very good. Very good. Adolf, we have hit over 30 minutes. I think around over 37 minutes. So I am going to go into the last point we had for you today. Basically, we wanted to ask you what is the most important aspect of the beer festival for you, maybe for the team. Is it the brand? Is it the beers?
For me, if I have to speak about me, it's definitely the beer experience. Um, uh, it's it's not just taste the beer, but enjoy the beer in the atmosphere. So you need to find your ideal atmosphere, the ideal space within the beer festival, and you enjoy your kind of beer. It could be a lager, a stout, an ale, whatever it is. And this is what I believe makes the Farsons Beer Festival unique. We have last year we had around 40 different beers. You will definitely find one beer that will say this is my preferred. Like Jonathan said before, his Chis Strong is his preferred. Indeed, many people come for the Chis Strong at the Farsons Beer Festival because we don't find it much in draft mainly. So there you can find it in draft. So get your ideal beer, whatever you prefer, or taste new ones and be adventurous in your new taste, and find your corner, let's put it this way, and enjoy it.
All right, thanks for that. So, just a few questions from my end before we end. So, what would you say? We were talking about the challenge, of the setup, that it's a big coordination, the heat, and all this, working with third parties. Is that, would you say, the most challenging aspect of the beer festival, or are there other challenges that are worth mentioning?
No, challenging nowadays starts from the permits and the health and safety regulations. Those are all challenges nowadays that they are, I would say, on top. A challenge, but at the same time, a priority for us. So definitely that is on top of the agenda nowadays. It starts from the permit to actual, I would say, the last few hours before opening the gates. So that is something that is continuous day by day, monitored, and that is I would say, in my opinion, is the biggest challenge to keep the high standards always appropriate. Um, but then, yes, the setup and the dismantling, because let's not forget that after Saturday night, when we have the grand finale, where the team continues for another week and a half there, to dismantle and store everything back. So yes, definitely, I would say that those two elements are the most challenging to organize 10-day event.
So, when you mentioned that the challenges start with the permits, are you saying because it is a challenge to get the permits? Are there like,
No, no, no.
is it because there are strict regulations that you need to adhere to? So there's a rigorous process.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right,
Is there? This is a process. Is a process. I mean, nothing against the permits at all. I mean,
yeah,
we
yeah,
haven't have any issues. Just is the process, and I would say I welcome it. However, it needs time. It needs administration.
cool. And you mentioned so the in terms of regulation and health and safety, there's another one which I'd like to touch on is CSR, corporate social responsibility. So is that another challenge? I know that many festivals, including you, have kind of switched to the one cup kind of the one cup thing where you are actually awarded for it. Can you tell us a bit about that? Handling even plastics, handling waste, handling anything that might be badly contributing to the environment, and how the beer festival is working on that or has worked on it and plans to work on it.
No, definitely. So it was always on our agenda. However, lately we put it up a notch by introducing the reusable cup. and it worked. I mean, it worked tremendously well, and we were very proud of it. Last year we introduced it. Actually, we were planning. Actually, we have already the design, and we're submitting the order to have the stock arriving in time. But yes, this is something that it will continue. It should be it's standard nowadays, even for the Farsons Beer Festival. However, we need to do even better when it comes to the separation from the audience, because yes, cups reducing the plastic the by having reusable cups is one big step, I would say. But now we need to go on the food.
Yeah.
We need to the food containers. We're already working on it, and we hoped that we could introduce it this year. But probably will be in time. Definitely, actually, will be in time for next year to have that as stable too.
Cool. And in terms of maybe for some of our international viewers that maybe haven't even been to the beer festival, so when it comes to, because you mentioned food and separation, all this, so when it comes to the beer, obviously we know that this is handled by Farsons. But when it comes to the food and the food stands, and nowadays, festivals are like the playground of foodies because there's so many different types. How is this handled? Who's it handled by? Do you work with third parties? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, there are third parties. They're all industry, particularly our trade partners, and we handle them. We particularly we issue a call, and from this call, which what we try to do is to have different items, not just the burgers and the hot dogs. So each stall we have 13 stalls in total, and we try to have as much as different from Indian to vegetarian introduced last year too. So there are very different elements of the food stalls. No, they are outsourced. However, the setup is ours, and the health and safety regulators are ours too. So they have to abide by our standards. Although they are renting the space out, they are abiding by our standards. So even the policy
Cool.
and the regulator.
Cool. All right. And just a few more questions. So maybe a juicy one. What is your opinion on the curfew, and what limitations or restrictions do you have for the festival and with regards to curfew?
To be quite honest, we never had big issues with curfew. We always abide by the time. Before we actually start the permits process, we meet always every year with the local council of Hattart. We tackle each point that there were, and discuss if any issues were brought up. However, whatever is our curfew, we always stop the sound 30 minutes minimum before, so that we have the gate closed by that time. That gives us quite a nice buffer in some time, because obviously if you have a curfew, let's say it's 2 o'clock, okay, usually 2 o'clock is they switch off the sound. In our case, we definitely the main stage by midnight, by half 12, it's closed. So the other acoustic gigs and the clubbing area, which is still going on, but by 1 we stop.
Okay. Last question is like for the 40th edition. I don't know if maybe you can spill the beans, but what was there anything special planned that maybe the viewers could be allowed to know, and if anything even more special would you say is being planned for next year because it has been missed this year?
We were planning something special for the 40th anniversary, but I will stop there for now, because obviously it's changed a lot now, and we want to reconsider, because as you can understand, when 1 year difference is a lot. This is not just postponing by a month or two; it's a full 12 months. So that's it can change a lot
Sure.
in a year. So that is something that's definitely we have a lot of material, which was already done, and it's ready practically. Mentioned case in point, mentioned the reusable cups, but the rest we'll have to wait a bit more.
Okay. Last question from my end is, what would you say is the vision for the Farsons Beer Festival for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Will there be maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna give you any idea. So, what would you say is the vision?
Um, I'm not sure about 5 years. Definitely, I think that's we need to understand actually the changes that are going to happen to Ali, because that there's a lot to take there. And could be that the specifics or the design of the festival would require some change. Definitely an improvement. We're not going back. And last year, I believe we reached a high that we can't go back from that. And our mission is to keep that high standard, supporting local talent. But more than that, health and safety should be first, and the environment. This is a national public, the national park. We need to make sure that we keep on the what we've done very well last year, and keep on enforcing it with the help of the attendees.
Cool. Thank you, Adolf. Thanks for. Sorry for the bombardment of questions, but I think that they are questions that are interesting to the viewers. They're interesting to me at least. So I'm gonna leave to Alberta to bring it to a close. Thanks for everything, Adolf.
Thank you.
I actually did want to ask one more question with regards to your headliners. I mean, are you going to be planning? Did you literally just postpone and try and keep your same headliners, or are you going to start everything from scratch there? And because I know, for example, a lot of bands and everything, there are other events. So, for example, with weddings, everything has been postponed to 2021. So, what will you end up having clashes because they've promised already another event? Are you going to try and keep in line with the same headliners that you had this year, or are you just going to start it from zero again?
The main headliners, we know who they are. I mean, the headliners that they host the main stage, we know who they are, and some of them we already contacted and gave them
Good.
a tentative date for next
Okay.
year. Again, we don't have the date yet in hand, so we have a tentative date for next year, and just to freeze, let's put it this way, that's that time. However, nothing is set in stone. I mean, and yes, I believe personally that we have to start from scratch, because as I said before, a year, 12 months it's a long time.
Yes. Thank you for that. Okay.
Who's
Um,
band, even the bands. For the bands, it's a long time too sometimes.
Definitely, definitely.
all right. Thank you very much, Adolf, for being with us today. I don't know if
Welcome.
you have any final words to tell our viewers.
No, I mean, not by my final words. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me on this, and very welcome to share my experience on the Farsons Beer Festival, and I would like from here to thank all the team involved in the Farsons Beer Festival, and the contractors, all whoever supports me and my team with having a successful beer festival. Hopefully, we'll see you all next year.
Cool. Super. Any final words from you, Ben?
No, I'd like to thank Adolf and the team for for being part of the show. I think it was really good content for the viewers and for us as well. Yeah, thank you for being candid and being yourself, Adolf, as always. I appreciate it, and I look forward to next year's edition and to see what you have in store. And thanks to you, Alberta, for the time. I appreciate it.
Bye, thank you.